You know those conversations with chatbots where you just want to pull your hair out? Yeah, we've all been there. But what if I told you that's kind of old news? We're talking about something way beyond that now. Today, we're jumping into the wild new world of AI agents. So think about it. We use AI for the simple stuff, right? A quick search, maybe help writing an email. But what if that's just scratching the surface? What if AI could actually take action for you? And I'm not talking about just one AI working alone. Imagine a whole team of them, specialists, all talking to each other, working together to tackle some huge, complex goal. And when I say huge, I mean, what if that goal was running an entire city? Or maybe predicting climate patterns? Or even just running your whole business? It sounds like sci-fi, but this is the future that AI agents are building right now. And trust me, it's happening way faster than you think. So let's get into it. Okay, so to really get this, we need to shift our thinking, removing away from the idea of a single digital assistant to, well, entire digital ecosystems. And the key to unlocking all of this is something called multi-agent systems. So what in the world is a multi-agent system? Honestly, the best way to think about it is like building a house. You wouldn't hire one person and expect them to do the plumbing, the wiring, and the roofing, right? No way. You hire a team of experts. That's exactly what this is. It's not about one all-powerful superbot. It's about a whole crew of specialized agents, each a pro at its own job, all working together. And you know, just like any good team, communication is everything. So how do these AI agents talk to each other? Well, one might be the manager, handing out jobs to the others. And here's where it gets really cool. If there's a conflict, say the traffic agent wants to turn a light green, but the pedestrian agent sees someone crossing the street, they don't just freeze. They use logic to negotiate the best possible outcome. Safety first, then efficiency. This is where you can really see the mind-blowing potential. Picture a smart city. You've got one AI managing the power grid, another one running the subways, and a third one that's just watching the weather. A big storm starts rolling in. Before a single human even checks their phone, these agents are already talking to each other in milliseconds, rerouting trains away from flood zones and protecting the power grid. It's problem solving on a superhuman level. Okay, so that's the team view, the hive mind. But what about the individual players on the field? Let's zoom in a bit and look at what makes a single AI agent tick. This comparison right here, it's perfect. It really nails the difference. Think of a chatbot as a vending machine. You punch in a very specific code and you get a very specific preset snack. An AI agent, on the other hand, is like having a personal chef. You don't give it a recipe. You just say, hey, I'm hungry. The chef then looks in the fridge, figures out what's possible, makes a plan, and actually cooks you dinner. It's all about understanding your goal and then taking action to achieve it. So how does it do all that? Well, it comes down to a toolkit with 4 essential pieces. First, you've got the brain. That's the large language model that gets what you're trying to do. Then there's the notebook, which is its memory. It remembers your past conversations, what you like, what you don't. Third is the to-do list, which is its planning ability. It can take a big, messy goal and break it down into small, logical steps. And finally, and this is the real game changer, it has hands. This means it can actually use other software. It can get into your email, your calendar, a spreadsheet, and do things for you, all on its own. But of course, with all this incredible new power comes, well, new risks. A lot of new risks. When these autonomous systems mess up, the mistakes aren't just small bugs. They can be very public and sometimes very, very expensive. Case in point, $1. That is the actual price a car dealership's AI agent recently agreed to sell a brand new Chevy Tahoe for. Yep, someone figured out the bot was just programmed to be super helpful and agreeable and basically sweet-talked it into a legally binding $1 deal. And this teaches us a really important lesson, right? You can't just set an agent loose with a goal. You absolutely have to give it guardrails, strict rules about what it can, and more importantly, what it cannot do. Otherwise, you end up with an agent that's, well, a little too helpful. And believe me, the stakes are only getting higher. There was this case where an Air Canada chatbot gave a customer completely wrong info about a refund. The airline tried to argue, hey, that wasn't us, that was the bot. A judge basically said, nope, not how this works, and ruled that the company is legally on the hook for what its AI says and does. That's a huge precedent. This goes double for really sensitive areas. A nonprofit, with the best intentions, set up an AI agent to help people with eating disorders. The problem, It was a general AI, trained on the whole wild west of the internet. So it started spitting out harmful dieting advice. So why would it do something so counterproductive? Well, this gets at one of the biggest challenges in AI right now. And that challenge is something called hallucinations. It's the technical term for when an AI just makes stuff up, but it says it with complete confidence. The AI wasn't trying to be malicious. Its training data was just way too broad, so it invented facts that were totally inappropriate and even dangerous in that context. It's a massive hurdle the whole industry is trying to figure out. Okay, so we've covered what these agents can do, but what about what they can feel? Or at least what they can understand about how we feel? That's the next big frontier, and it's called affective computing. Basically, emotional AI. And let me tell you, this technology is a classic double-edged sword. On the one hand, the sunny side. Imagine customer service that actually senses when you're getting frustrated and changes its tone. Or AI companions that can provide genuine emotional support for people who are lonely. The potential for good here is just massive. But the dark side is equally powerful. We're talking about huge questions of privacy. Could a company detect your emotional state from the sound of your voice and then use that to manipulate you into buying something? It's a serious ethical minefield, and we're just now stepping into it. And because the risks are so high, there's this global race to set the rules of the road. You've got the EU, which is taking a very strict human rights first approach. Then you have the US, which is trying to do this balancing act between safety and not stifling innovation. And then there's China, which is focused more on social stability and government control. How these different approaches shake out is really going to define the next chapter of AI. Now, I know a lot of this sounds like it's 10 years away, but here's the thing. You can start using this stuff today. So let's get practical and talk about how you can hire your very first digital employee. And the best part? You don't need to be some giant tech company or know how to code to do it. Seriously, small businesses are already using this to save tons of time every single week. Here's a super simple 3-step guide to get you started. First, find the boring stuff. Those repetitive tasks you hate doing every day, like answering the same 5 questions from customers over and over. Second, pick a platform. There are amazing no-code tools out there like Zapier or Intercom that let you build these automations just by dragging and dropping. No coding required. And third, check the ROI. Do the math. If an agent costs you $50 a month, but it saves you 10 hours of your time, well, that's a no-brainer. It's already paid for itself. And the results? They're kind of staggering. We're seeing some small businesses report productivity boosts of over 40%. How is that even possible? Well, it's because these agents are perfect for handling all that grunt work, the scheduling, the sorting of emails, answering the basic questions, and that frees you, the human, up to focus on what we do best, solving the hard problems, coming up with creative ideas, and actually building relationships with people. So, when we look at the big picture, it's clear the revolution is already here. We're way beyond simple chatbots now. We're building these complex digital teams that can reason, plan, and actually get things done in the real world. And that leaves us with this final thought. The challenge isn't whether we're going to adopt these tools. That train has already left the station. The real question is how wisely we choose to use them, not just to make our own lives easier, but to protect our collective future.